Today, I want to talk to you about something that has been on my mind for quite a long time. And I've been studying about it, I've been reading about it, watching videos on YouTube, listening to podcasts about it. And today, I feel like I'm finally prepared to talk about it. So let's get started. But before we start, let me introduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Eliana Capioto. I am an English teacher and I teach general English, the English that you need in all kinds of situations in your life, to Brazilian students online. So if you are interested in my work, you can check here in the description of this video. There is a link to my Instagram account and you can be more in touch with my work on a daily basis over there. Today, I want to talk about why our society is getting so sick. Year after year, we are seeing the numbers of people getting sick rising and rising. And it's not just physical health problems that people are suffering from, but also and especially, I would say, mental health problems. That's something that has been going on for the past few decades more intensely than before. Nowadays, the most common health problems, mental health problems that we are seeing people have are anxiety, chronic stress, depression, ADHD, autism, panic attacks. What else do I have here? Obsessive compulsive disorders, bipolar disorder, addictions, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. There are so many health problems, and everywhere you look, you see people who are suffering from at least one of those problems. I myself struggle with anxiety sometimes. And the mental health problems also have an effect on our physical health. So my example here is that because of anxiety, I have these rashes on my hands here and here. So I've talked to my doctor and my doctor said that anxiety is one of the reasons for people to have rashes on the skin. And so you see, this mental health problem is impacting my physical health. And not just anxiety, I have another problem. I have one obsessive compulsive disorder, which is to pick at my skin. I've been having this bad habit for many years, actually. So if I have any pimples on my skin, I can't stop myself from picking at it. If I have any wounds like this rash that makes the skin a little bit different, irregular, I can't stop myself from picking at it and removing the scabs. So everything is interconnected in this case. And there are also other physical health problems that many people are having nowadays, such as high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, strokes. What else do I have here? I have a list here. Cardiovascular disease, chronic pain, respiratory problems, insomnia, getting sick frequently, and many other problems that are mainly caused by chronic inflammation. But what is the reason for so many people to get sick? Actually, the answer is in the way we are living our lives in this modern world. You see, we tend to forget that we are animals, just like the other animals. The dogs, the lions, the elephants. And the human body is wired to live in contact with nature. Our ancestors, for thousands of years, lived in nature. and depended on nature to live well, to live a healthy life. So our bodies still need what they needed. We still need fresh water to hydrate our bodies. We still need clean air for our lungs. We still need organic foods to nourish our bodies. Our bodies also need to move. Our ancestors living in nature had to move every day, looking for food, running away from dangers. So their bodies were always in movement, and our bodies need that as well. Our minds also need contact with nature. Did you know that the soothing sounds of the breeze moving the leaves and the birds singing and water flowing are very relaxing for our minds? And we need that. Yes, that's it. Studies show that the sounds of nature, those sounds of nature, make us relax because in the past, when our ancestors heard those sounds, they would feel comfortable, they would feel relaxed because those sounds conveyed the message that they were safe. If there was water flowing somewhere, they had water to drink. If the birds were singing, it meant that there was no danger around because birds wouldn't sing when there was danger around. So it's really interesting. But the way our ancestors lived for thousands of years programmed their bodies and minds to really depend on the environment they were living. And we are living this modern world the way we are living for a very short time. So our bodies are still not prepared to deal with this, our bodies and our minds. And we still need that contact with nature that our ancestors had. You see, our minds also need space for contemplation, for reflection. And this is so natural when we are surrounded by nature. It's so easy to do it. When we see the trees, how beautiful they are, when we see the sun shining through the leaves and making those patterns of shadows and light, that's so beautiful, and it's so easy to put us in the mood for reflection about life, about the world and everything. And we need that. And we need that silence in our minds to rest our minds. We also need to receive sunlight on our skin, because when we receive sunlight, we get the vitamin D that is so important for maintaining good health. And last but not least, we need direct contact with the earth, because we have energy in our bodies and the earth has energy in itself. And we need this contact with the earth. We need this connection and this exchange of energy to have a balanced flow of energy in our bodies. When we have this contact with the earth, the energy that we have in our bodies flows correctly, and it decreases the chance of us getting inflammation. It's really interesting to see that everything in nature is perfect. Our body is made of nature, right? We are part of nature. And therefore, all the functions in our bodies depend on this connection with nature. But unfortunately, it seems that we have forgotten that. I think that never have we lived so far from nature as we are living now. We've moved to cities and we've built those cities thinking only about concrete, making buildings, houses, shopping malls, and caring very little about the nature in the cities. There are so many streets without any green on them. And if we have some green spaces in the cities, they are very few and oftentimes quite small. So instead of doing everything I said in the first part of the video, we are doing things completely the opposite. So for example, instead of breathing clean air, we are breathing the pollution produced by cars, produced by factories, produced by landfills, and also the perfumes and other products that we spray on our bodies and on our houses to clean them. And all those things we are breathing are causing problems to our health, are causing allergies and respiratory problems. Instead of drinking fresh water, we opt for drinking all kinds of industrialized beverages full of sugar and fat and preservatives. Even the bottled juices are much more chemical than natural. And there are also the alcoholic drinks that we have adopted as a way of de-stressing and relaxing and having fun. So whenever people go out with their friends, instead of drinking water or natural juice, natural fresh juice, they decide to drink alcohol because they've learned that without alcohol you cannot have as much fun, which is pretty wrong. Instead of eating organic foods, organic vegetables and fruits and grains and everything that nourishes our bodies, we are drinking things sprayed with pesticides, aka poison. Not to mention all the junk food that we buy and the packaged foods full of additives to preserve the foods in those packages for a long time. So the way we are eating is pretty unhealthy too. And you know, something that really shocks me is that all of those foods that we find in the supermarkets have been approved by regulatory agencies such as Anvisa in Brazil and the FDA in the United States. That's a shame. Instead of moving our bodies, we are seated for the most part of the day. We go to work on a bus or in a car, and then we stay for 8 hours working seated on a chair, and then we return home and we rest lying on the sofa. So our bodies are moving very, very little. And as still water goes bad, a body that is always still, sedentary, will also start to deteriorate. The same is happening with sunlight. We are not taking as much sunlight as we need. We leave early in the morning and we go to work or to school by bus or by car. And then we stay indoors for 8 hours working. And when we leave work, the sun is already set. And on the weekends, most often than not, people are too tired to go outside, so they just stay at home watching TV, and therefore we are not getting as much sunlight as we need. So most people have deficiency of vitamin D. You know, I remember when I was working as a translator and a proofreader for a translation agency, and I had to work a 9-to-5 job. I had to leave my house very early, I think at 7 in the morning, so that I would be at work at 9. And I didn't get the chance of taking much sunlight. And I remember that when I left work, the sun was already setting. And while I was working, I would look out the window and I would see the beautiful day, the blue sky, the sun shining, and I craved for being outside for a while to take some sunlight. But I didn't have any good excuse to do it. So I remember wondering if I smoked if that would be a good reason to give so that I could go downstairs, go outside and take some sunlight. That's pretty insane, right? Because saying that I just wanted to take some sunlight and relax for a bit would sound insane. No balls would like to hear that. In our free time, instead of going to parks, as I said before, instead of taking some sunlight, instead of moving our bodies, we are so tired, physically and mentally tired, and we just do what is the easiest thing to do, which is to stay at home, lying on the sofa the whole day, watching TV series, scrolling on social media like zombies, just like doing nothing at home. Or we go out, but we go to shopping malls to shop for things, even when we don't need anything. Or we go and see our friends, but we see them in bars drinking alcohol and eating junk food. So it seems like the way we have organized our lives is really preventing us from living a healthy life. And what about grounding? Yeah, we are not doing much of that either. We are living mostly in buildings, high buildings, so we are very far from the ground. And even when we are on ground level, we are wearing shoes, so this exchange of energy with the earth is blocked. When we go to parks, we don't take off our shoes. Even here in Japan, I've seen people going to the beach or going to rivers, and I've done that myself because I learned that from watching other people doing that. They wear shoes that are proper for being in the water. So this way we are not giving our bodies any chance to connect with the ground. And our bodies are craving for that, to stabilize the energy flow in our bodies. You see, we acquire too much unbalanced energy during the day. We are always in touch with different gadgets, computers, cell phones, the microwave oven. I've heard that even pollution causes us to receive positive ions, which are quite detrimental for our health. So we need to release those positive ions. And the way of doing that is connecting to the ground. And at the same time that we discharge those positive ions, we receive the negative ions from the earth. So I remember when I was a child, my father would take me to parks and he would say, Eliana, go there and hug a tree. And I was around 7 years old, and I remember feeling very embarrassed for doing that. I would do that because my father said so, but I remember watching around and seeing if other people were watching me. And I didn't really understand what he meant. I thought it was something very mystical, you know? But actually there is science proving us that we need this contact with the ground. So even if you're not barefoot, you can still exchange energy with the ground if you are hugging a tree, because you are having contact with the ground, with the nature, through your hands. There are a lot of studies about this. There's a book that I've just finished reading called Into the Forest. I'll leave the link here below for you to check it out. And so in this book, they say all the benefits that we can get from this contact with nature. And now, many years later, I understand what my father meant, what my father wanted me to do when he told me to hug a tree. You see, things are not going well. Everything we do is not bringing benefits to our health. quite the contrary, actually. We are causing problems to our health. And to top it all off, when we get sick, instead of looking for a solution, for a cure, for a way of healing through nature, through having contact with nature or having natural medicines, we take drugs. We don't hesitate to take chemical drugs. Of course, that drugs can help us to heal the problems we are dealing with, but the side effects are huge as well. And the fact that we are living such unhealthy lives is not just our faults, you know. We were born in this modern world. So when we were born, things already worked the way they are working now. And we just adapt to how life is lived in this society. And unfortunately, it seems that we only realize that things are wrong when we fall sick. But when we fall sick, two things might happen. We might just look for treatment with drugs and doctors and things like that. Or we might stop and reflect about our lives, the way we are living our lives, and try to find a solution in changing the way we are living, changing our behavior. And many people can learn something from that. It's as if getting sick is a way of breaking a trance, and they finally understand that things must be changed in their lives if they want to live a long and healthy life. I myself only realized that I had to change things in my life when my anxiety crisis started to feel serious. That's when I decided to look for information, to learn more about what my body needs and what my mind needs. So is it possible to change the way we are living our lives in order to be healthier and live longer? Absolutely, it's possible. Some things are quite easy to do. Other things are possible but a little bit harder to do because of the way our world is structured. And we are going to be talking about all of those topics. I'll be talking more in depth about each one in the next videos. So this was just for you to really start thinking about the way you are living your life and start thinking about your health, your physical health, your mental health, your habits, and how everything is connected. It would be awesome if you made that reflection about your life, your habits, and everything in the comment section below, because when you are writing, it's easier to organize your thoughts. It's easier to retain the information that you got from this video. And also, of course, you are here to practice your English. Writing is another way of putting your English into practice. So you can use the vocabulary that you learned from this video and use it in your comment. And last but not least, when you write your comment here, other people will read your comment and that will help them to get insights into their own lives, and it will help them to reflect on the way they are living as well. So I'm really looking forward to reading your comment here. And I'll see you in the next video. Este vídeo está sendo patrocinado pela agência de traduções One Translations. A One Translations é uma agência especializada em tradução juramentada nos idiomas inglês, espanhol, alemão, francês e italiano. Se você estiver planejando estudar fora, trabalhar fora ou adquirir cidadania de algum país, você vai precisar de traduções juramentadas dos seus documentos. E eu super recomendo os serviços da One Translations. Eles têm escritórios em 6 grandes cidades. E eles têm mais de 600 avaliações no Google, com nota 4.9 e 5, de um total de 5. Pelo link abaixo aqui na descrição, você pode pedir um orçamento online e por esse link você consegue um desconto de até 10% no pedido do serviço. E fazendo o pedido pelo link que está aqui embaixo, eu vou ganhar uma pequena comissão que me ajuda a manter esse canal. Então é isso e até o próximo vídeo. Tchau, tchau!